There is a specific kind of rage that only a wet bathroom floor at 11 p.m. can give you. Bare feet, cold tile, and somehow, a puddle the size of a kiddie pool again, because a grown man cannot figure out how to use a sink. I did not yell. I did not confront him. Instead, I picked up a towel that wasn't mine, and I made a decision that would turn me into the quiet villain of my own apartment. And honestly, I've never felt more at peace. Before I get into how one wet countertop turned into a full-blown domestic Cold War, hit that subscribe button, because this channel is basically a support group for people who have been pushed to their absolute pettiest limits. And trust me, this story earns every second of your time. Also drop a comment telling me the most petty thing you've ever done for justice. I read every single one. Okay, let's get into it. My name doesn't matter for this story, so let's just say I'm the little sister, 24 years old, and for the last year and a half the sole unpaid, unthanked custodian of a 2-bedroom apartment that my parents were generous enough to buy for me and my older sister to share. My sister is 28. She's brilliant, she's driven, and right now she is somewhere in the trenches of a medical specialization that eats 60, 70, sometimes 80 hours of her week. I am proud of her. I mean that. When she does make it home, she's running on fumes, collapsing onto the couch like a puppet with its strings cut, and I genuinely don't have it in my heart to hand her a mop the second she walks through the door. So somewhere along the way, without ever really discussing it, I became the house. The dishes, the floors, the trash, the grocery runs, the bathroom that somehow always needs scrubbing, all of it quietly migrated onto my plate, and I let it, because I understood the trade she was making. Long hours now for a stable, respected career later. I could carry the mop for both of us. Here's the thing about carrying a weight like that, though. You don't need someone to help you lift it. You just need people to stop adding more weight on top. That's where he comes in. My sister has a boyfriend, 27 years old, technically an adult, biologically a fully grown man, and yet somehow, in the specific arena of using a bathroom sink, like a functioning member of society, operating, with the spatial awareness of a golden retriever that's just been toweled off after a bath, he stays over about 3 nights a week. And every single time, I want to stress that word, every single time, he leaves that bathroom looking like a minor plumbing incident occurred. The countertop isn't just splashed, it is drenched. Standing water pooling around the base of the faucet, running down the cabinet doors. Sometimes, and I still don't have a scientific explanation for this, the actual floor is wet. Like he opened some kind of interdimensional portal to a sink in a different, wetter universe. I remember the first few times I chalked it up to a fluke. Maybe he was in a rush. Maybe the faucet was faulty. I even checked the faucet. It was fine. The problem, infuriatingly, undeniably, was him. Picture this. It's late. I've had a long day. I'm exhausted. I just want to brush my teeth and go to bed. I flip on the bathroom light and my socked foot lands in a cold puddle on the tile. That specific, visceral jolt, the dampness soaking through cotton, that little full-body flinch, happened to me more times over those months than I can count. And every time my stomach would just drop with this tight, hot knot of "are you kidding me right now?" I started keeping a towel by the sink specifically for this. Not a cute little hand towel. A full-sized bath towel, permanently stationed there just to sop up the aftermath of his visits. I was doing extra laundry. I was buying extra towels. I was, in every sense, subsidizing his inability to turn a faucet off properly and dry his own hands. Now, you might be asking, why didn't I just say something? And believe me, I tried. Gently, at first. I mentioned it to my sister casually, the way you test the temperature of water before stepping in. Hey, can you remind your boyfriend to wipe down the sink when he's done? She nodded, said she would, and I believed her because why wouldn't I? Nothing changed. I tried again, a little more pointed this time. I left a small note taped above the faucet, friendly, almost joking in tone. Please wipe down the counter after use. I even drew a little smiley face because I wanted to seem chill about it, non-confrontational, easygoing. The kind of person who doesn't make a big deal out of small things. The note stayed up for 2 weeks. The counter stayed wet for 2 weeks. At one point I genuinely wondered if he was reading it and choosing actively, consciously, to ignore it, which honestly enraged me more than if he'd just been oblivious. I want you to understand the specific texture of this kind of frustration, because it's not the dramatic, movie-style rage of a huge betrayal. It's smaller than that, and somehow more corrosive. It's the frustration of being unseen, of doing labor that nobody registers, and then having that same invisible labor casually, repeatedly undone by someone who doesn't even clock that they're doing it. Every wet countertop wasn't just water. It was a tiny, wordless message. Your effort doesn't matter enough for me to adjust my behavior. I started resenting the sound of his voice through the wall when he'd come over. I started dreading Thursday nights, because Thursday nights were his nights. I'd lie in bed and think, with this simmering, low-grade bitterness, tomorrow morning I'm going to walk in there and it's going to be a swamp again, isn't it? And it always was. The breaking point wasn't even that dramatic, which somehow made it worse. It was a Tuesday. I'd had a rough day. Nothing catastrophic, just one of those days where everything feels heavier than it should. I came home wanting exactly one thing, a hot shower in my own bed. I walked into the bathroom and there it was, the countertop glistening, water dripping steadily off the edge of the cabinet onto the floor, forming a small, spreading puddle. My sink towel, the one I'd bought specifically for this exact scenario, was folded neatly on the towel rack, completely dry, completely untouched, because apparently reaching 2 feet to grab it was too much to ask. I stood there in the doorway for a solid 10 seconds just staring at it. Not moving. My jaw was tight. My hands were curled slightly at my sides. And I remember this strange, cold clarity washing over me. The kind of calm that isn't peace. It's the calm right before you stop being nice. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to write another cheerful little note with a smiley face on it. I was done asking to be seen. I was going to make myself seen. Here's where I need you to understand something important about my sister. She has this one towel. A soft, oversized, ridiculously plush lavender bath towel that she bought herself as a treat during her first year of residency, a little reward for surviving finals. She loves this towel with a genuinely embarrassing amount of affection. It lives on her personal towel rack in her bedroom's ensuite. It is, in her words, not for guests. It is, very specifically hers. And in that moment, standing in a puddle created by a man who could not be bothered to use a $2 towel I'd bought for exactly this purpose, a plan bloomed in my mind with the clean, satisfying click of a puzzle piece sliding into place. I walked into my sister's room. I took her towel off the rack. I walked back into the bathroom, and I used her precious, plush, not-for-guests lavender towel to mop up every single drop of water off that countertop. The faucet base, the cabinet doors, the floor, all of it, slowly, thoroughly, almost ceremonially. Then I wrung it out over the sink, hung it back up on her rack, perfectly folded, like nothing had happened. I want to be honest with you. I did not feel guilty. I felt something closer to euphoric. There is a very specific, very rare kind of satisfaction that comes from solving a problem in the pettiest possible way while remaining, on paper, completely blameless. I hadn't broken anything. I hadn't said a cruel word. I had simply redirected the consequences of someone else's carelessness onto the one variable I knew would actually generate a reaction. Because here's the beautiful part. I didn't do it once. I did it every single time. Every visit, every wet countertop, that lavender towel became my weapon of choice. Sopping wet floor, sopping wet counter, dried meticulously with my sister's most beloved possession, then hung back up looking pristine, until she'd go to use it after a shower and find it damp, smelling faintly of bathroom sink instead of her lavender fabric softener. It took about 3 uses before she noticed. I remember hearing her voice from down the hall, sharp with confusion. "Why is my towel wet? I haven't even used it today," I called back. Perfectly innocent. "Oh, weird," and went back to what I was doing, biting the inside of my cheek to keep a straight face. By the 5th or 6th time, she stormed into the living room holding the towel like it was a piece of evidence in a crime scene. "Okay, seriously, someone keeps using my towel and I need to know who." And this was the moment I'd been waiting for. Because I didn't have to lie. I didn't have to accuse anyone. I just had to describe the crime scene. Honestly, Probably has something to do with your boyfriend flooding the bathroom every time he's here, I said, shrugging. I've asked him to wipe it down like 4 times now. I even left a note. There's a literal towel by the sink for exactly this reason, and he never uses it, so I've just been grabbing whatever's closest. The look on her face was priceless. It was this slow-motion collision of realization, connecting the dots between the note she vaguely remembered me mentioning, the countertop she'd apparently never actually inspected herself, and her precious towel being repeatedly sacrificed to mop up her boyfriend's mess. She didn't yell at me. She didn't even really apologize, not directly. My sister isn't really the sorry type. But something shifted immediately. That very weekend, I heard her through the bathroom door, in a tone I hadn't heard her use with him before. Patient but firm. The tone you'd use to explain something to someone for what feels like the 100th time. Babe, seriously, you have to wipe down the sink when you're done. It's not optional. It's not funny anymore. He mumbled something apologetic. I didn't stick around to hear the whole exchange, but I didn't need to. I already knew I'd won. The change wasn't perfect. He's still not exactly a neat freak. And every so often there's a little water on the counter that I quietly wipe up myself without any theatrics. Because honestly, everyone forgets sometimes. But the flood stopped. The puddles stopped. My designated sink towel started actually getting used by him, the way it was always supposed to be. And my sister, she started paying a lot more attention to the state of the apartment when she comes home now. Not out of guilt exactly, more like awareness. She'll ask, "Hey, is everything okay with the chores split?" In a way she never used to. It's a small thing, but it matters. I don't need her to mop floors at midnight after a 16-hour shift. I just need to not feel invisible in my own home. As for the lavender towel, it survived. It's back on her rack, dry, beloved, untouched by controversy these days. But every once in a while, when I catch her boyfriend reaching automatically for the little towel by the sink without even being asked, I feel this small, warm glow of vindication. Nobody ever found out it was intentional. As far as anyone's concerned, I was just an unlucky bystander who kept grabbing the wrong towel in a moment of desperation. I know it was petty. I'm not going to pretend it was some noble act of quiet justice, but sometimes, when you've spent months being polite, being patient, being the invisible person holding an entire household together, being petty is the only language that actually gets heard. And honestly, watching that lavender towel do its dirty work, one wet countertop at a time, I regret nothing. If this story lived rent-free in your head, the way this man's bathroom habits lived rent-free in mine, smash that like button and let me know down in the comments. What's the pettiest revenge you've ever pulled off that nobody ever found out about? I want to hear it. Subscribe if you want more stories exactly like this one, because trust me, the internet is full of them. See you in the next video.